It was a project where the homeowners moved out because we were pretty much taking up the whole house. Whole first floor and second floor, so all new kitchen, a new office, all new powder room. There was a lot of work there. We were there for 6 or 7 months, I forget exactly. You know, there's been a couple times unsolicited where they've thanked us and just said, we can't believe we're in this nice new house and quality of life has improved and thanks for, everything we did. So that's the stuff that we like to hear because that's the whole reason why we're doing a lot of this stuff. People usually have a problem or something that could improve or need of why something needs to improve, and then to bring it to life, you're changing the quality of life of someone's life. That's like a big deal.
We're a full-service design, build, remodeling company. We specialize in residential home remodeling projects, kitchens, bathrooms, home additions, whole house remodeling. We also do screen porches and decks. We do work with the customer all the way from design through the end of construction, so it's very helpful to have one company helping you through the whole process. We work with a lot of customers who are planning to stay in their house for a long time. They've been thinking about this project for years, sometimes 10, 20 plus years. They've been thinking about redoing their kitchen, redesigning their bathroom, adding on that great room addition that they've always wanted, that would help their family as a whole. They've given it a lot of thought, but they need someone like us to come in and help them envision it and actually bring it to life. I think it's very important to understand what the customer's needs and wants are, and then trying to help them achieve that as best we can.
In construction, our contractors as a whole I feel like we get the stigma of a used car salesman. There's a lot of contractors that can give contractors a bad name, and so I think sometimes, especially Mike, he's the first one that goes out and meets homeowners, and he's the first one making the first impression, and if they've had maybe a bad remodeling experience before, then, they come in with some negative feelings, and, us having to overcome that or create that trust and being honest and creating the trust with the homeowner is one of the biggest things that we have to do on the early end, and one of Mike's big roles for us on the back end is then executing what Mike tells the homeowner. And we are a contractor that does what we say we're going to do. Small family-owned company built off of family values, so we are a lot different than a lot of other contractors out there where that sometimes maybe give us that kind of used car salesman type stigma.
One of the most important things that separates us from other companies is the fact that the two owners are kind of the main points of contact. So me, as one of the owners, I kind of handle all of the initial appointments with the customers, and I work directly with them through the design process. So I'm going to be kind of that first point of contact. I'm going to work directly with the design team and the customer through that whole process. So it's nice to have kind of the owner of the company working directly with you. And then as we turn it over to construction, that's when I pass it on to my brother who runs project management, the next point of contact that's going to help take that project to the finish line. So it's very important having both owners very involved with the project, making sure that it's going to be done at a high level with our expectations and the high quality work that we expect.
Remodeling's not easy. There's certain things that, depending on people's skill level, that they can maybe do it themselves, but when you get into custom remodeling and larger scale projects, there's a lot that goes into all of that, and not necessarily even just the construction. Like Mike said, a lot of it is the design and the planning, and then obviously the construction aspect of it as well. And for us, we are a design build general contractor that we take all of that off of the homeowner. When we get into a project, obviously we need their input on their selections and where they might want things placed and things of that nature, but the overall project and the flow of the project from one employee or subcontractor to the next and one task to the next, that's all taken care of by us. It takes a lot of time to manage these projects, and it can be very time consuming if they have full-time jobs or multiple kids at home, and that's the reason why you hire us as a general contractor, is we're taking that stuff off of their hands and they're relying and trusting us to do what we say we're going to do, which is why we talk a lot about trust. I think a lot of working in people's homes is they got to trust us, and you got to create that comfortability. And a lot of contractors, like I said, get that used car salesman because they will sell you the world, but they don't execute on what they sell you, and we try to execute on what we're selling. When looking for a contractor, make sure you're doing your due diligence, compare similar contractors to similar contractors and apples to apples, because there's a lot of different levels of contractors out there. If you're just looking for the cheapest and something that can be done the fastest, there's guys out there. That's not how our company operates, and that's not what we're shooting for. We're not just trying to sell as many projects and produce as many projects and make as much money as we possibly can. Our company is ran as a company that is looking to do high quality projects, do what we say we're going to do, honesty, trust, communication, and creating relationships with the homeowners. You know, we have a lot of repeat business because of that.
The best way to get in touch with our company, you can certainly call the office, but you could also go to the website and just fill out the contact form. Once you fill out the contact form, we will reach out to you to schedule the discovery call. And the discovery call is when we'll kind of talk through more about your project, what you're trying to do, and how we can help.